Oh, greetings. Greetings. Let's get us up here. See. Okay, D-Live should be coming up now. Hopefully. Yep, there we go. Beautiful. All right, good morning, everyone. Oh, hello. Let me finish, getting everything all squared away here, and we'll take a look at the morning's news so far. Just a minute. One more thing to check. And this is running slow as heck, so it's gonna take a sec. Go. All right, that's all set. Okay. All right. Okie dokie. I need my browser. Beautiful. All right, let's see. I know I have a few things tagged. First up. Ah, yes, Amy Klobuchar getting confronted. Melissa Slotkin getting confronted. Says her primary concern is military use within the United States. Even though that hasn't like really actually happened.
Let me read you what Senator Lindsey Graham said about your video. You owe it to the men and women in the military to be specific about what you are talking about, what these senators...
Which they can't be because, of course, if they were, they'd have to be honest.
...and House members did was unnerving, and it was unconscionable to suggest that the President of the United States is issuing unlawful orders without giving an example.
Yeah. So for me,
Which they can't give because there isn't one. Because Trump hasn't done that. He hasn't given any illegal orders.
Primary concern is the use of U.S. military on American shores, in our cities and in our streets. We've seen now the courts overturn the deployment of U.S. military into our streets, including here in Washington.
Yeah, and you know, we've also seen courts overturning the courts overturning. Because, of course, all those overturnings are full of shit.
In D.C., when you look at these videos coming out of places like Chicago, it makes me incredibly nervous that we're about to see people in law enforcement, people in uniform military get nervous, get stressed, shoot at American civilians. It is a very, very stressful situation for these law enforcement and for the communities on the ground. So it was basically a warning to say, like, if you're asked to do something, particularly against American citizens, you have the ability to go to your JAG officer and push back.
And with these...
Yeah, but they know that. They all already know that. This is not like some arcane, obscure knowledge that you're suddenly bestowing upon the military normie population, you know, that they just weren't aware of. Just didn't know that they could go to a JAG officer and ask about orders they were unsure about the legality of. They just didn't know that. But thank God you're here, Alyssa Slotkin, to tell all of the moronic military how to do their jobs.
I was calling you. Couldn't
Thank
you
goodness.
have done a video saying just what you just said? If you are asked to do something, if you are worried about whether it is legal or not, you can do this. It does imply that the president is having illegal orders, which you have not seen.
I think for us, it was just a statement widely, right? We say very quickly and to all the folks who come to us.
Just because? Just for no reason?
This is the process. Go to your JAG
Just thought she'd say it.
officer, ask them.
You know, thought just struck you out of nowhere. Maybe just why not, right?
them for explanation, for top cover, for their view on things. We do that on a case-by-case basis, but we wanted to speak directly to the volumes of people who had come to us on this.
And it is very clear that no one should follow an illegal order, but it's very murky when you look at what is an illegal order. And if you go into morally, ethically, that's a pretty tough thing to look at and say, how do I navigate this?
No, it really isn't, because, you know, they have people whose entire job it is to make sure that that's all in the clear. You know, they have lawyers that just, this is their job.
I mean, look,
To look at all of this every time any order is given.
going back to Nuremberg, right, that, well, they told me to do it, that's why I murdered people, is not an excuse. If you look at popular culture, there's like, you watch, you know, A Few Good Men, like we have plenty.
Seriously, really? Did you really just toss A Few Good Men out there? Sicko.
Of examples since World War II in Vietnam where people were told to follow illegal orders and they did it and they were prosecuted for it. So the best thing for people to do is go to their JAG officer, their local law enforcement or a legal officer in their unit, and ask for some explanation, ask for help. And that's what we've been advising people to do.
See, it's funny because I could have sworn you were advising people to just not follow orders. Here's Klobuchar getting confronted with the same.
I wonder, do you know what the specific illegal acts are that your Democratic colleagues were referring to there?
No, you don't, because there aren't any.
Well, it's very clear.
No, but the whole point is that it's not clear. That's why she's asking you.
In this code for the military, that you cannot follow unlawful orders. And, you know, that
unlawful orders.
that would be, I'll just use an example. Some of the judges have now found in certain cities that it is not legal to send in the National Guard. And those National Guard members have come home. Some of them are still there. But if
Are they still there?
their commander were to tell them, hey, go out on the streets and do this and that, that's not following the order that is in law. So I just use that example. I'm sure my colleagues would have others.
I wonder.
God, she's so... Ugh. There's something about her.
I wonder, do you?
Okay, we saw that. Anything else down here? It's old. Thomas Massey. Yeah, who cares? Oh yeah, all this business the other day. My goodness. Some documentary claims George H.W. Bush knew of 1964 alien contact with humans in New Mexico. Which documentary is this? Okay. Oh, yeah, age of disclosure. Of course it is. Fucking people will say anything. They will say anything for a view. Of course, George H.W. Bush is now conveniently dead. Can't go asking him. Go figure they wait until, you know, the year after he dies to release this. Yeah, I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. That documentary is a garbage pile. Guarantee. I haven't even seen it. Don't need to see it. If it's got Lou Elizondo mixed up in it anywhere, it's a garbage pile. Along with any of the rest of that crowd of losers. Okay, Vindman. Oh, nice. Vindman under investigation. Good. He deserves it. Of course, he's now trying to turn himself into some sort of victim. Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth just launched a sham investigation into me for my support for Ukraine. All because I demanded Trump's call transcripts with Mohammed bin Salman be released. No, somehow I don't think that that's it, Eugene. Somehow I think it's probably the crimes you committed that caused that. Yeah. What's going on in Portland? Massive brawl breaks out in front of Portland ICE facility yesterday. Insane amount of pepper spray deployed. Let's see it.
Oh, there we go. Holy moly. There we go. Is Brent in there? Is Brent okay? Is that Brent?
Oh, sorry.
Holy shit. Holy. Is that one of them in there? Holy. I'm trying to see who got
Still insane in Portland, it looks like.
sprayed.
Oh, by the way, my license just showed up just like a day or two ago. Finally, I got my real ID and I can travel.
I saw a lot of spray.
Okay, we did those. Epstein files. Let's see it.
Last week, President Trump signed a bill requiring the Justice Department to publicly release all of the unclassified information they have related to their investigation into the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The nearly unanimous vote in the House and Senate and the president's signature capped off a furious political controversy that was fueled in part by the lingering question of whether any of Epstein's high-profile friends and associates were complicit in his crimes. The bill gives Attorney General Pam Bondi 30 days to release the material, but it's not clear how much of the file will actually see the light of day. The legislation also allows Bondi the power to redact any information that might identify victims or jeopardize an ongoing investigation. And DOJ has opened investigations into Democrats, including former President Bill Clinton and former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers. There's broad public support for more transparency on the issue. In our new CBS poll, a majority of Americans across party lines, 55% total, say releasing information regarding the Epstein case is very important. In fact, our polling shows that 9 in 10 Americans believe those files will contain damaging information about powerful or wealthy people.
Dang, 9 in 10, huh? More than 9 in 10. Cute. Trump signals support for a sweeping new proposal that would ban foreign-born citizens from holding any elected office in the United States. Good. Okay. Luckin again. Do you believe that President Trump has issued any illegal orders?
So let's talk right now. Do you believe President Trump has issued any illegal orders?
Good for you, ABC Hag, actually asking pointed, direct questions that we actually want to hear the answers to. Doing your job for a change. Wow.
To my knowledge, I am not aware of things that are illegal, but...
Oh, so really? So that whole thing then, why'd you do it? Just to remind people? This is an interesting one. Hey, Mark, I had an interesting conversation with a great Navy JAG about this topic back years ago in 2010. You know, one of those chief and captain charts. Disobeying illegal orders came up in the conversation. To sum up his response, yes, you do have the right to refuse illegal orders, but Yeah, exactly as I laid out when this all first tumbled out there. Expect to be court-martialed. Yep. You can absolutely refuse an illegal order. They all know this. But there's the whole process that follows this. You get court-martialed like on the spot immediately, and then all of that gets played out in a court, in a military court, and then you find out whether you're in the right for disobeying said order. The order gets looked at, whether it was legal or not. But they know all this. Oh, nice. Campbell's Soup Company VP Martin Bally caught on recording saying their chicken comes from a 3D printer? What? No way.
A former Campbell's Soup Company employee is taking legal action against the food giant, and he's making some explosive allegations about one of its top executives. Good evening, and thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Ty Steele.
I'm Kimberly Gill. Those allegations are now at the center of a lawsuit claiming the company's vice president went on an hour-long tirade attacking the company's products and employees before taking aim at its customers.
And the former employee
Whoa.
recorded it all. Eric Erickson shares that recording and what the company is saying about it.
We have shit for poor people. Who buys our shit?
And that's just part of an over an hour-long rant, says former security analyst for Campbell's.
We have shit for effing poor people.
Robert Garza.
Nobody buys our shit. Man.
Of Monroe.
I don't buy Campbell's products barely anymore.
I don't buy effing Campbell's products. It's not healthy. Now that I know what the F is in it.
Now that I know what the is in it, even in a can of soup, I look at meat, bioengineered meat.
Oh.
I don't want to eat a piece of chicken that came from a 3D printer.
The recording allegedly of
Gross.
Campbell's VP and Chief Information Security Officer Martin Bally.
He has no filter.
Bally, along with another supervisor and Campbell's Soup Company, named in a lawsuit filed Thursday. The suit claiming Bally made racist remarks, admits to coming to work high, and Garza fired for coming forward.
What do you think about the things that he was saying?
Oh, just pure disgust.
Garza says he usually worked remotely for Campbell's headquarters, based in
Came to work high and admitted it.
Camden, New Jersey, but thinking he'd be discussing his salary with Bally, he says the recording taken in person at a restaurant.
Effing Indians, he says. Go back to that. Don't know an effing thing.
They couldn't for the other like these dumb
Garza says he felt sick after the rant, deciding to go to his direct supervisor in January, keeping the recordings to himself.
He had never had any disciplinary action. They had never written him up for poor work performance.
Garza says no.
Jeez. Oof. Okay. Now let me go to Miss Steph's pile here. Oh, Greg Bovino just called for massive investigations into how illegal aliens are getting commercial driver's licenses. Good. If he scrolls through TikTok for just an hour, he'll find dozens of companies that'll brag about doing just this. Oh yeah, it's everywhere.
I've got a lot of
It's where they're recruiting people from.
friends that have commercial driver's licenses. That is a very difficult exam. The training there for a commercial driver's license
Used to be anyway.
is very difficult for American citizens who speak English. How exactly, in many of these states, California especially, are these truck drivers passing an exam, a very difficult exam, when they can't even speak English? So I think that's problem number one. Is let's take a look at how they're actually being issued those driver's licenses. I've not received a good answer from that on any of those states yet. I think that that bears a little more investigation. As far as the truck drivers, Border Patrol, ICE, and again, those allied law enforcement agencies, we're doing everything we can to take these illegal alien truck drivers off the streets before they kill more American citizens. We just got a couple of more there at one of the Border Patrol checkpoints in Southern California, and I know our ICE operatives there are also doing the same thing. So we're going really hard to identify these truck drivers and take them off the street. I think we're making a lot of headway in doing that.
Commander, hope so. It is out of control. All right, down to the bottom of the pile. Welcome back, Steph, by the way. Hope your travels went swimmingly, went smoothly. Good to have you back. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Quite a pile already. My goodness. There we are. Here's number one. White House's schedule for this morning. Well, they got nothing for the morning, but at noon, the First Lady welcomes the official Christmas tree. Then 4 p.m., President signing an executive order, known which one. Oh, here's some on the tree.
Yeah, so it's the National Christmas Tree Association has their tree contest, and they have it every other year. The winner of the contest earns the right to provide the official White House Christmas tree that goes in the Blue Room. So, and we have competed in the national contest. This is the 6th time that we've competed. So we've had in 2015 we had the reserve grand champion tree. So we presented a tree that went to the vice president. Oh, it's pretty exciting. It's been a long process preparing for this. Going back to the summer after winning the contest, and immediately your focus shifts to, okay, what's next? Now we need to find a tree large enough to fit the standard for what they need for the White House and for the Blue Room, and so yeah,
it's cool. Shoot. I go and do that. Kidding me. All right, we got to scroll again. Have fun. Here we are. Okay. Here we go. President Trump livid about the sedition tonight, or last night, firing off a blizzard of nearly a dozen posts urging legal action and accountability for those 6 congressional Democrats. And a bunch of Q posts, too. He was posting Q stuff all over the place. Remember your oath. Do it Q. There's a do it Q post in there. Some image. Sure, it's making some people sweat, so. Oh, God. Slender Man stabber Morgan Geyser captured in Illinois after cutting off her monitoring bracelet and fleeing a group home. Just the one that stabbed a friend or something, thanks to the Slender Man legend or something.
The manhunt for the Slender Man stabber is over. Morgan Geyser, the Wisconsin woman convicted in the 2014 Slender Man stabbing, was taken into custody overnight after escaping from a group home on Saturday. But police were not notified until the next morning, buying her more time to get away. The 23-year-old cut off a GPS monitoring bracelet before breaking out.
Wow.
Police say she was found at a truck stop just 20 miles outside of Chicago with another person who was also taken into custody. Police say they both rode a bus there together. Geyser had just entered the group home in March after being granted a conditional release from a mental health institution that she had been in for the last 7 years. You recall, in 2014, investigators say the 12-year-old Geyser and another student nearly killed one of their middle school classmates. The girls luring the victim into the woods with a game of hide and seek before stabbing her 19 times. Somehow that victim survived. Geyser had been at the group home since being released from a mental facility in March after 3 psychologists testified she was ready for supervised release.
Wow. President Trump posted a bombshell from Rep. Tim Burchett that the Biden admin sold pardons. Get the fuck out of here. Are you kidding me? Of course they did. And that NGO money is funneled back to politicians. Yeah, of course. All those book deals, the speaking gigs. You shitting me?
almost 1,000 NGOs, non-government organizations working out of Afghanistan. I had Marco Rubio in committee, and I asked him, we're giving the Taliban 40 million. This is just an example. 40 million a week. 2 years I've been working on this. I got a freaking memo from the dadgum, State Department, and they're no friends of mine. They're no friends of this country. If that's the deep state, there ever was one. They have, they've told us that we've given them close to $5 billion. And we're still doing it because it goes to the NGOs. The Democrats fought that amendment that we added NGOs into the bill. Why? Because there's 1,000 NGOs, and you know good and well that money's coming right back to Washington. That's what Elon told us. The paper trail runs right back. Now, can I find it? No, I don't have access to those kind of computers. But that's why they're squealing. They're squealing about it.
So squealing about USAID cuts, you're saying that our suspicions are confirmed that the money that's spent at USAID goes right back into Democrat campaign coffers.
Almost 100%. Almost 100%. There's still some Republicans, I think, if they are, you know, that's why leadership, they said somebody see me, they sent my buddy, and he sits beside me. Tim, man, some of the chairmen are kind of upset what you said, and, you know, go through all this stuff. And I said, but you know, it's the truth, right? He goes, well, yeah, we know it's the truth, but you just can't keep saying it. And I keep saying it. So that's why I always tell people I'm not suicidal.
You made a lot of news on our show saying that you believe that there could have been some real payola with some of these Biden
have pardons. To be 8,000 pardons. I said 2,000, and it's come out. Somebody said something
8,000.
8,000 freaking pardons. You think Joe couldn't remember what he'd had for breakfast? He couldn't remember where the dadgum bathroom was. And he reviewed 8,000 files on pardons. Give me a freaking break. This is so shady, and it's just Washington, D.C. It happens every day. That's the thing. It happens all the time. But with Trump in there, we're focusing on some of this stuff.
Yeah.
And every department is suspect. And, you know, you just can't get past it.
Of freaking course that was going on. I wonder what else they were selling. Howard Lutnick says we will win the Trump tariff case in the Supreme Court. Good, because if we don't, that's big trouble.
We are going to win the case. It's pretty clear. I sat in the Supreme Court. We're going to win the case. But the fact is the president has all sorts of policies and tools throughout. He's got tariff rules of 232 in my department. He's got 301. He's got 338. Tariffs are going to be a part of this administration's national security and national economic protection of the American people. But we are going to win the case. So you can worry about the backup plan, but you're going to watch the Supreme Court back this president, because this president has proven that he can protect America, and IEPA is protecting America. So we are going to win this case. You heard it from me. I feel confident. I sat through the case. We are going to win. We are going to win the case. It's pretty clear. I sat in the
Trump admin live updates. Trump says tariff payments set to skyrocket as Supreme Court weighs the duties. Indeed. Ooh. Israeli military set to sack several generals over October 7th attack. How's that? Okay. Move comes 2 weeks after the military's chief, Eyal Zamir, called for, quote, a systemic investigation into the failures that led to the onslaught. That's one way of looking at it. Even as the government dragged its feet on establishing a state commission of inquiry. I wonder why they would do that, despite public pressure. Why would they drag their feet when it comes to starting up a public inquiry, a commission of inquiry into what exactly happened that day? The list of generals fired includes 3 divisional commanders, one of whom was then serving as the military intelligence chief. Oh. Statement released Sunday said all three bear personal responsibility for the armed forces' failure to prevent the attack launched by Hamas from the Gaza Strip. Well, someone obviously does, because the response was sorely lacking for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours on end. Something was really, really wrong that day. Like, the whole border was wide fucking open. Everyone knew it. Like the day of, all of us were questioning it the moment it happened. Like, what? This is the most locked down border in the world. How did this ever happen? How could this ever have been allowed? Other than, well, by being allowed. Yep. I guess it's gotten so bad with the public pressuring for inquiries into this that they're finally throwing some heads to the wolves. Yikes. Tucker Carlson accuses the Wall Street Journal of withholding information regarding Ukraine's corruption. Accuses the Murdoch-owned outlet of using both sides of its newspaper to continue the war with Russia. It's not the behavior of a news organization, it's the hallmark of an intel agency. Let's read it. For months, the Wall Street Journal has held a story detailing the personal corruption of Andriy Yermak, the second most powerful man in Ukraine. Yermak has skimmed hundreds of millions in American tax dollars meant for Ukraine aid. The journal's editors can prove that, but they're not. Instead, they're protecting him. Why? Because Yermak is leading Ukraine's efforts to scuttle the Trump peace plan for Eastern Europe. The owners of the Wall Street Journal don't want peace with Russia. They want war. At the same time, the journal's editorial page has attacked the Trump admin for pushing a peace agreement. This is true corruption without informing its readers. The Murdoch family is using both sides of its newspaper to continue the war with Russia. It's not the behavior of a news organization, it's the hallmark of an intel agency. Huh. Marco Rubio announces massive progress being made after the negotiations yesterday with Russia and Ukraine.
The report today is that I think today was worthwhile. It was very, very. It is probably the most productive day we have had on this issue, maybe in the entirety of our engagement, but certainly in a very long time. But work remains, and because this continues to be a working process. You know, I don't want to declare victory or finality here. There's still some work to be done. But we are much further ahead today at this time than we were when we began this morning and where we were a week ago for certain. Okay? The report today is that I think today was worth.
U.S. set to label Venezuela's Maduro-tied cartel de los Soles as a terror organization today. Oh, Bill and Hillary Clinton are officially scheduled to testify about Jeffrey Epstein in December. If they do not show up for their in-person depositions, a warrant will be issued for their arrest. Bill Clinton December 17th and Hill Dog on the 18th. Oh joy.
The House Oversight Committee has officially informed Bill and Hillary Clinton's attorney that they must appear for depositions on December 17th and 18th in Washington. The committee approved the subpoena on a bipartisan basis back in July, and now Chairman James Comer says no more negotiating terms. The time has come for the former first couple to tell Congress what they know about Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, goody.
So the bill to release the Epstein files that was signed by President Trump this week is just one part of Congress's multifaceted investigation into Jeffrey Epstein and his sex trafficking ring. In July, the House Oversight Committee sent subpoenas to multiple former government officials from both Democratic and Republican administrations demanding they be deposed under oath. The Clintons received the subpoenas and tried to negotiate. They said they can provide written answers to questions. But committee chairman James Comer officially informed them Friday morning that won't cut it. In a letter sent to Clinton attorney David Kendall, Chairman Comer wrote, "Your suggestion that your client's testimony would not be relevant to the stated purposes of the committee's investigation because the events in question took place outside of the Clintons' respective official duties misses the committee's point. It is precisely the fact President Clinton and Secretary Clinton each maintain relationships with Mr. Epstein and Ms. Maxwell in their personal capacities as private citizens that is of interest to the committee." If the Clintons do show up on the 17th and 18th, they will likely answer questions in private, and the committee will release a video of certain answers. Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna wrote on X, "If the Clintons defy their subpoenas, there's only one thing to do: jail time." That may not be an empty threat. Democrats subpoenaed former Trump administration officials Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro during the January 6th investigation. When they refused to comply, Democrats sent criminal referrals to President Biden's Department of Justice, which secured convictions that led to prison time.
Interesting. Will they do it? Will they show? Hillary Clinton says she was daydreaming. Oh, is this? It was so bizarre, this one.
You know what this reminds me of is I wish that there could be like a huge
Delusional.
national sound system.
The Kuru is eating her brain.
And we would all wake up and they'd say, "Attention, attention, we have found the problem and we have solved it. He is gone." But the reason we're here tonight is to remind all of us, including ourselves, that that can't happen unless we make it happen. And so when you ask what we're doing, one of the things very clearly, Latino Victory, Onward Together, we are, thanks to your support, we are able to provide funding to candidates on behalf of causes, to try to elect people that are going to stand against this, tide of intolerance and cruelty and all that goes with it.
Imagining, what was it? A national sound system? Bonkers. Okay, Trump on the Ukraine-Russia peace talks. Is it really possible that big progress is being made in peace talks between Russia and Ukraine? Don't believe it until you see it, but something good just may be happening. God bless America. Hey. Now Trump's 28-point plan for Ukraine shocked the world. Axios, probably behind a paywall. Yeah. Get it anyway. There we are. Zelensky listened on speakerphone 1 week ago as Witkoff and Kushner read line by line from a 28-point plan to end the war in Ukraine. Can we get a look at some of the points? Just skip all the BS. Okay, here we go. General areas that these 28 points covered: peace in Ukraine, security guarantees, security in Europe, future U.S. relations with Russia and Ukraine. Another U.S. official confirmed Dmitriev had been consulted, while a Ukrainian official confirmed the plan had been presented to Umarov. News was met with bewilderment by officials in European capitals and by many in Washington and Kiev who weren't yet in the loop. Interesting. They're doing this quietly, it seems. Trying to. Many reacted with horror once details were reported by Axios and other outlets. Among other harsh concessions, Ukraine would be asked to give up additional territory beyond what Russia already held. Ooh. When European officials initially called the State Department and asked for clarifications, they were told it was not a Trump plan, two diplomats said. Trump not only embraced the plan, he demanded Ukraine sign it by Thanksgiving. Good. Get this over with. After the meeting, a U.S. official claimed an aggressive timeline for signature had been agreed. Ukrainian official said Zelensky agreed to use the plan as the basis for negotiations because he knew he couldn't afford to reject it. The pressure was growing by the hour. Good. Zelensky made his appeal to the Ukrainian people on Friday. Ukraine risked losing our dignity or losing the support of the U.S., he warned. They will expect an answer from us. Yep. Ooh, interesting. Straight to the point. Catherine Herridge interviewing who? I don't know. Someone on the case against Comey. Well, let's click around this a little bit. Who is this?
This week, with the future of the criminal case against former FBI Director James Comey in question, we take a closer look at the evidence, including the discovery of burn bags at FBI headquarters containing sensitive records about the Trump investigations. I reached out to my network of contacts and spoke with 6 former FBI agents. Between them, they have more than 9 decades of law enforcement experience. We're digging into these records and the FBI probe codenamed Arctic Frost and more. So let's get straight to the point. Did the FBI do these investigations by the book?
No.
No question.
No question.
These FBI records about the burn bags came to light during the criminal prosecution of former FBI Director James Comey. These burn bags contained records from Mar-a-Lago, January 6th, and the FBI Russia probe.
Someone has access
wow.
to those different cases, a very limited source.
So limited source or a very senior person.
Right.
Is the fact that there was an investigator level briefing for journalists at the New York Times?
That is highly, if it's not illegal, I don't know what it is.
What would happen to you as an FBI agent if you used a special government employee to pass on information to the press?
I would be fired and brought up on criminal charges. Absolutely. I've seen people brought up on criminal charges for way less than that.
The original referral from the CIA about intelligence related to the 2016 election was found in a storage closet adjacent to the FBI director's office.
Interesting.
Interesting?
Yeah.
The CIA warns the FBI, and then at the same time, they're applying to the National Security Court using information, which is opposition research.
Right. It's very coordinated to me. When you have the intelligence community, plus the DOJ, plus the FBI, you can ruin somebody's life by just open investigation on them.
Did the FBI do these investigations by the book? Yes or no?
No.
No question.
No question.
We sat down with Andy Lim, who spent 2 decades with the FBI doing violent and organized crime as well as terrorism. These FBI records about the burn bags came to light during the criminal prosecution of former FBI Director James Comey. These records show the burn bags were identified at FBI headquarters in room 9582. You worked at headquarters. Where is room 9582?
It's on the 9th floor.
Based on these records, do you believe the FBI knows who put those burn bags in the room?
They could, because if you have access control and you keep the log, you can tell who's been to that room, right? So you can look at the period you think the burn bag might be put in there.
So a small group of...
That's right.
Yeah, kind of a small group of people, probably.
Group of people.
Yeah. Did the FBI do these investigations by the book, yes or no?
All right, let's click around a bit. I want to see some of the timestamps here. Okay. Ooh, in 2016, CIA intelligence alleged potential Clinton plan to damage candidate Trump.
A CIA referral that was declassified, as I recall, by John Radcliffe, who's now the CIA director, but at the time was the director of national intelligence.
He was DNI.
And then what it says here is it's talking about intelligence that's been picked up about a Hillary Clinton campaign plan relating to President Trump and portraying him as a sort of puppet of Russia.
Right.
Is a CIA referral the kind of document that would be on very close hold?
I would say so, because this is probably very, very sensitive, and I wouldn't be surprised that it's limited distribution.
Limited distribution.
Right.
This record says it was missing for several years. You're smiling when I say this. Why are you smiling?
Well, because, you know, the Bureau, we don't misplace record very often.
Gilliam believes a very limited number of FBI personnel, such as then-Director James Comey, had access to the CIA referral.
Well, it seems like national security information. And if that's the case, it had to do with Russian hackers. That is not information that you would just want to be out. It would also be a secret compartmentalized information, most likely, that only certain people would be allowed to have or handle that information. And that narrows it down even further as to who could have had possession of that.
To be clear, you've never seen...
Interesting. This goes over a whole bunch of interesting details. Cool. I know we got more to get to. I'll drop a link to it. Okay. Where is my DLive, please? Oh, General Dan Kane, Raisin Kane, will visit U.S. Southern Command troops in Puerto Rico on Monday, as the U.S. increases its military presence while considering action against Venezuela. Man, what did I just see? I was like half asleep when I saw it this morning. It was something about... give me a second. I bet I can find it. It was something suggesting that what Trump is doing here with all this action in that area really wasn't about Venezuela, and was actually, yeah, here we go. A full-on push to boot Russia, China, and Iran out of the entire Western Hemisphere. That's an interesting theory. Very, very interesting. U.S. military buildup in the hemisphere isn't just about Venezuela. It's about getting Russia, China, and Iran out of the Western Hemisphere, officials say. Okay, so this is coming directly from officials? Wow.
Should President Trump order strikes against the Maduro regime, there's plenty of firepower in the Caribbean to do it, with about 30% of all deployed American warships, including the aircraft carrier Gerald R. Ford, now on station. There are over 200 Tomahawk cruise missiles in theater aboard destroyers and U.S. Marines aboard...
A lot more than we need for Venezuela.
The USS Iwo Jima and other amphibs in the Ready Group. Now, ahead of Thanksgiving, the U.S. military's top officer, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Raisin Kane, arrived in Puerto Rico yesterday to meet the forces who are part of Operation Southern Spear. So with General Kane in the region, we'll have to see if Secretary Hegseth follows suit ahead of Thanksgiving. And one thing officials have said is some of this buildup in the Caribbean goes beyond the Maduro regime. It's about getting Russia, China, and Iran out of the Western Hemisphere, guys.
Interesting. Definitely explain quite a bit. The DNC took out $15 million in loans in October compared to the RNC having $91 million in cash on hand. Wow.
Out $15 million in loans back in October, according to a new filing with the Federal Election Commission. The party claims the line of credit was an investment in boosting candidates in New Jersey and Virginia from earlier this month, building up the party ahead of next year's midterm elections. The move drastically contrasts the RNC, which reported $91 million cash on hand at the end of October. Out $15 million in loans back in October, according to a new...
Hey. Okay. Rick Grinnell just said what everyone else is too scared to say, and he's right. Well, what did he say? Talking about the sedition video.
Rick, I want to get your take about what has taken place since you were DNI. You're the former DNI. Also, you are presidential envoy for special missions of the United Nations. This last 10 years and this investigation ongoing on whether or not it is a conspiracy, beginning with Russia collusion, where one political campaign, Hillary Clinton, came up with a lie about her political enemy, and it goes viral across the world, to the Hunter Biden laptop, to impeachments, and then 90-plus indictments against President Trump, the Mar-a-Lago raid. What do you want to say about what we have just experienced for 10 years of attacks against this president?
Well, it's clear to me that the bureaucracy led by the Democrats and the press are going to attack President Trump every time he tries to reform Washington. They don't want to reform. They like the system the way it is. And so when you look at the very beginning, when President Trump arrived in 2017, really beginning in 2016 with the election, the intelligence community and others had so many bad apples that they went after President Trump and created the Russian collusion hoax and all of these other things. This video that these Democrat elected officials are doing now is a call to arms to try to get the last remaining few people within the intelligence community, within the bureaucracy, to stand up and fight. I think it is an outrageous video. We should call it out constantly. What they're trying to do is mount an insurrection from within. And President Trump is right to be extremely angry. And I hope that John Radcliffe and Tulsi Gabbard understand that they've got to dig deep now to figure out how do we stop any of these leaks that are clearly going to be coming.
Secretary Brooke Rollins reveals the deal with China is still being inked, but Trump has them already buying produce from U.S. farmers. They've agreed to buy trillions of dollars worth of soybeans. Is that true? Then what? That can't be true. Billions, maybe? Trillions, though? Nah. I don't think there are trillions of dollars of soybeans.
Stop buying soybeans, and now they have agreed to buy trillions of dollars worth of soybeans. Has that already started?
It has. In fact, it almost started immediately after no new purchase orders for months. The minute that Secretary Bessent, President Trump, of course, is the ultimate deal maker.
That's a shitload of soybeans. Like, trillions?
But we got that deal going with China still being inked, so it still has not been released yet. But we've had about 1 trillion or 1.5 million metric tons of soybeans start making their way over.
So the farm.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Farmers said who have credit.
That's a shitload of soybeans. My goodness. Okay then. Tariff power will bring American national security and wealth, the likes of which has never been seen before. Those opposing us are serving hostile foreign interests that are not aligned with the success, safety, and prosperity of the USA. A lot hinges on this tariff decision. Thankfully, it sounds like Mr. Lutnick is quite sure that we are going to win the decision, which is good, because if we don't, we're fucked, basically. We must pass the SAVE Act now, Mike Lee says, to protect our elections from foreign interference and fraud. Trump tweeting, we must focus all of our energy and might on election fraud. Oh, interesting. Okay, Lara Logan interviews former CIA operations officer Gary Bernson, who explains how elections are being stolen in America, at least allegedly. Explains. I don't know who this guy is or why we should trust what he says, but let's see.
They know where they can find the dead people that they need to get certain votes. They plan this, as Gary said before.
It's meticulous.
It's meticulous. These guys are experts at this. It's not just a few guys in a back room. You're talking about hundreds of statisticians and engineers, and they work it, for a year.
And mathematicians and hackers.
Right.
We had a map out of Colorado when we were talking to our engineers, the guys that designed and stole the elections. And we looked at it and we said, look, it's Denver here and Colorado Springs, all the Democrats, they said, and they looked at us in pity,
Yeah.
Like, here's something. They said, no, we just go to every one place where Trump wins 70-30 and he's winning 68, or we shave in every other place. We don't go near a Democratic place because when they want to do recounts, they're going to go to the Democratic places. They don't realize we shaved in every other committee. We know every other county. We know how to do this. And then in each of those things where they shave with a different technique in each one of those. So if you found something in one county, there's no continuity around the state that way.
So this is why the Republicans are so much at fault, because they have the power and the ability to show in their areas they can allow access to the machines, they can allow access to the source code, they can allow the...
But they thought we just won by 35%. Okay, we didn't win by 38. Yeah. We won by 35, so no one's going to call to... They should have, right?
Because everyone says, well, we expected the Republicans to win by a majority. Well, it was a little less than we thought it was going to be, but they still won, so, no harm, no foul. But the evidence of the fraud is right there, and they could show it.
They never looked at it.
Yep. MS Now. They changed the name. That's right. MS Now praising the Trump-Mamdani meeting. Oh, how weird.
They also say game respects game. Game respects game.
Two things can...
Game recognized game.
I will say also, he's a New York guy. And when he says, I've always wanted to be mayor of New York City, and he sees a guy that has captured Manhattan, captured New York City's attention, he's just going to respect that. And I know everybody wants to go, oh, he's a winner, that's a loser, that's a loser. You know what? Every once in a while, when something doesn't go like horribly, why don't we just go, yay, for today, yay. You can't even say, well, that was good. Then nobody was screaming and punching and people, yeah, but tomorrow. Okay, let's just one day at a time, my friends.
It's a semi-sane outlook from none other than Morning Joe.
One day at a time.
Right. This bizarro world
does not change the potential threat the president poses to his old hometown. But on that day, it was good to see them get along.
Yeah.
At minimum, the mayor-elect, I think, bought New York City some time. It was a tour de force. I admit, watching it through the press pool camera, laughed through most of it because the two men clearly were enjoying each other's company.
Yeah, they were. It was really actually kind of makes you wonder about what Mamdani really is. Yeah. Manchurian candidate for our side? Like, is he a plant? It's entirely possible.
And they were able to hit their talking points. Mamdani played the president pretty well on issues of affordability and the like. And you're right, Joe. I mean, Trump, we all know, can be very charming in private. And in this moment, he was taken with Mamdani, and I think respect.
Could just be that simple. It could really just be that. I don't know.
The way he built his coalition, the way he used social media, the fact that he won.
Again, nobody will like this on either side. They're both very charming men.
Yeah.
They really are. One-on-one, they're both very charming men, and so they got together, and yeah, game respects it, charm respects.
Could be. Just been confirmed that the massive military buildup in our own hemisphere isn't just about Maduro and Venezuela. Oh yeah, it's one we just saw about getting Russia, China, and Iran out of the Western Hemisphere. Yeah. Yep. Should Trump order strikes against Maduro regime, about 30% of all deployed American warships are now on station, including Gerald R. Ford. A lot more than is needed for Venezuela alone. So, Big news. Supreme Court to hear Judicial Watch's case to uphold Fifth Circuit ruling that struck down a Mississippi law unconstitutionally allowing election officials to count mail-in ballots received up to 5 days after Election Day. Wow.
Either do one of two things. You can jump directly to Supreme Court and ask for the Supreme Court to take a look at what happened, or you can take an intermediate step or a final step, depending on what you want to do, and ask for the full circuit to take a look at it. So Mississippi then appealed it, as I said, to the full circuit. They lost again, and they've filed a cert petition. They've asked the Supreme Court to overturn the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals ruling, finding in Judicial Watch's clients' favor that counting ballots that arrive after Election Day is unlawful. Either do one of two things. You can jump directly to Supreme Court and ask for the Supreme Court to take a look at what happened, or you can take an intermediate.
Senator Ron Johnson calls once and for all for Republicans to end the filibuster.
Democrats'
Will they do it?
primary goal in keeping the government shut down was to deny President Trump and Republicans any success. They certainly used health care as an excuse, but bottom line, they want to make sure that Republicans and President Trump have no success so they can win the midterms. It's all about power for Democrats. If they're really interested in health care, they want to shut down the government. They know there's a lot of us in the Republican conference. I'm happy to work with anybody who wants to acknowledge the problem and then repair the damage done by Obamacare and transition to a system that works. There's a lot of us that like to do that. But that's not what they did. They shut the government down, costing our economy, as previous guests said, hundreds of billions of dollars. That's their game plan. And I think Republicans have to recognize the reality that the minute Democrats have the majority, they will eliminate the filibuster, and they will do all those things.
True.
And I agree with John Brasso. It's very sad that
Yeah, it is. But it's true.
Democrats don't respect the filibuster anymore, but they don't. They purged the two members of their party that actually, held the line and maintained the filibuster. All of them now in the Senate have pledged to eliminate the filibuster. I can't imagine a Senate Democrat candidate who also won't pledge to eliminate.
Yep. Eric Swalwell says people should be able to vote by phone in elections after launching, conveniently, his gubernatorial bid in California. If we can do our taxes, make our healthcare appointments, essentially do your banking online, you should be able to vote by phone. Hard. I hear Mr. Swalwell also happens to be constitutionally ineligible to run for governor in the state of California, but hey, not that they give a shit about any of that.
You are joining a very crowded field at a very chaotic time.
What?
Californians are alarmed already by the cost of living.
Eric, come on, man.
The cost of healthcare. Your state is already in the president's crosshairs with ICE raids and other things, and now you're in the crosshairs too. So why should voters look to you to lead them right now?
The response over the last 72 hours has been overwhelming from Californians and also reaffirming. I've spent the last 3 days talking to fire victims in Altadena, which was ravaged by the fire, at a town hall of over 400 Democrats in Orange County, of all places, and a long wait list of folks who were not able, unfortunately, to get in because we didn't have the capacity at that facility. And this morning, I went to one of the largest churches in Los Angeles, and I brought Jasmine Crockett, my colleague, who causes good trouble with me, as my guest. And people are telling me they want to fight her.
Jasmine Crockett, really?
Protector, but also a get shit done approach on lowering prices. And that's frankly why I'm running. I was a council member and a planning commissioner in a town of low income and low expectations. And we
what?
Brought on affordable and market rate housing.
So you made it exactly the same as it was?
We turned the fortunes of that city around.
That's not what that sounds like.
I graduated high school there in 1999. 25% of us went to college. Today, because we worked with builders, labor, developers,
DEI,
we built better schools, better facilities, and 96% of the kids in that school go to college. So
DEI.
So I've seen it done before. I've done it before. Now I want to do it.
I'm sorry, that's just bullshit. You don't go from 25 to 96 like that without something being fudged. Or, you know, everything being fudged. Guarantee you all those additional, on top of that 25%, probably don't actually belong in college. Not that college is really worth much anyway these days. It's like they're learning anything. Other than how to be a good communist. Oh my gosh.
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you for...
Are you kidding me?
First Lady, thank you, Fame, for welcoming me and my little sister, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett.
He's doing the black church thing. Anything for a vote. President Trump will sign an executive order from the Oval Office today at 4 p.m. Wonder what this could be. Indeed. No idea as of yet. Wave of congressional retirement set stage for high-stakes 2026 midterm election. Oh boy. New Rocky statue at Philadelphia's airport. Cool. Nice. Got the music and all. Nice. President Trump set to announce a general framework to tackle healthcare costs. That's got to be what that's about then.
Got some big news on the healthcare front. President Trump is reportedly set to announce a general framework to address healthcare costs and fix Obamacare subsidies. The president is calling on Congress to send him a bill that would stabilize the expected spikes in Affordable Care Act premiums. Now, according to these reports, the announcement could come as soon as today from the White House, with remarks from the president and CMS Administrator Dr. Mehmet Oz. Something to look out for. Got some big news on.
Rep. Jason Crow hypocritically criticizes what he calls President Trump's irresponsible and dangerous rhetoric. He was one of the people in the video.
There's two things going on here, Margaret. One is the irresponsible and dangerous rhetoric by the President of the United States threatening to have members of Congress executed who he disagrees with. But it's also so telling that when members of Congress simply remind service members of the Constitution and their duty to obey the law, which is not just our right, but is our obligation to do, that he cannot handle that, and he resorts to threats of violence and threats of arrest and execution. That tells you everything you need to know about Donald Trump's respect for the Constitution and the rule of law, and actually underscores our point. There's two things going on here, Margaret. One is the...
That's rich coming from you, buddy. Gonna be funny to watch these 6 morons pay the price. J.D. Vance nukes Senator Slutkin after she admits there were not illegal orders at all, none, for troops to rebel against President Trump on.
Let's talk right now. Do you believe President Trump has issued any illegal orders?
To my knowledge, I am not aware of things that are illegal, but certainly there are some legal gymnastics that are going on with these Caribbean strikes and everything related to Venezuela.
You'd know a lot about legal gymnastics, wouldn't you, Slutkin?
Let's talk.
Almost like it's your job. What did Vance say? Vance said, if the president hasn't issued illegal orders, then members of Congress telling the military to defy the president is, by definition, illegal. Oh yeah, there's a whole section of the U.S. Code. Let me see if we can find a post on it. Here it is. 18 U.S. Code Section 2387 addresses activities that interfere with the loyalty, morale, or discipline of the U.S. military or naval forces. It prohibits advising or urging insubordination or disloyalty among military members, with penalties including fines and imprisonment for up to 10 years. Now, I'm not a lawyer, so I can't tell you whether this actually applies in this case specifically, or if there's something that precludes that. I have no idea, but it certainly sounds like it would. CIA in Mexico raised concerns about Dan Crenshaw. To who? To Langley. Wow. What? Huh? I Patch McCain. CIA officials in Mexico City sent a cable to the agency's headquarters in Langley, alarmed at Representative Dan Crenshaw's behavior during a congressional delegation meeting in August. Oh, God. Oh, yeah, wow. CIA officials raised concerns about Crenshaw's seemingly unprofessional behavior linked to drinking and decorum in the presence of Mexican officials. That's embarrassing. He went down there and got piss fucking drunk with a bunch of Mexicans. There are photos of him, like, getting totally sloshed, aren't there? In fact, I just saw them the other day. Interesting timing. Yeah, here we go. Look at that table, by the way.
It's good to be around. The ENC one's more fun than the rest. The rest are like...
Covered in booze.
Fun than the rest. The rest are like...
Meanwhile, DJ Dan is over there, man in the MacBook, playing the tunes, drunk off his ass. Bizarre. That is just straight up embarrassing, dude. All right, I want to know the details here. So this was during the course of his duties as chair of the House Intelligence Committee's Cartel Task Force, a task force which he no longer chairs because it's been disbanded. Thank God. CIA itself officially declined to comment for the record. Meeting also included Rep. Lou Correa. Crenshaw took part in a toast that included crude language which made women in the room uncomfortable. Wow. Oh, man. Speaker Mike Johnson and House Intel Committee Chair Rick Crawford banned Crenshaw from taxpayer-funded congressional delegation travel for 90 days after the incident. And he gave up his role as chair of the task force. It's funny. Not surprising, though. He's a dirtbag. What is this? Trump says no expansion of the fake news networks. What that's in reference to. Newsmax CEO Ruddy. FCC lifting TV cap disaster for conservatives. Oh? Trump says, if this would also allow the radical left networks to enlarge, I would not be happy. ABC and NBC in particular are a disaster, a virtual arm of the Democrat Party. They should be viewed as an illegal campaign to the radical left. No expansion of the fake news networks. If anything, make them smaller. Huh. Oh, God. Adam Kinzinger having a meltdown over Ukraine. Sign me up. Let's see it.
Hey, guys, I'm losing my voice.
And your mind.
But I want to talk about this.
Possibly control of your bladder.
Ukraine-Russia deal, where there was this 28-point plan that the U.S. came up with for Ukraine and peace, and then there were some questions about whether it was actually Russia that wrote it, or whether it was the U.S., and there's been this back and forth. It's like impossible to follow, but the bottom line is this plan, this peace plan that was given to Ukraine, is just a complete capitulation of Ukraine. It's awful. And everybody knows this. And the European allies know this, and hopefully they stand with Ukraine when Ukraine rejects this.
Oh my goodness.
But I just want to make the point.
When they reject this, I don't know that that's how this is going to go, bub.
That because there were people that thought Donald Trump was going to be good for the economy, and he's been terrible for the economy. The economy's a wreck. And because they thought they liked how he just...
You know what else is a wreck? Have you looked in a mirror lately?
Says what needs to be said, blah, blah, blah. Even though he's a complete
case in point. I mean, what the fuck? What even was that?
An artist, and he makes stuff up all the time. He's like a 5-year-old little boy that's still trying to win.
Again, I ask, have you looked into a mirror lately, sir?
Win his dad's approval. How pathetic is that? But because he won, because there were people that bought into that lie. We are being shamed on the world stage. The rest of the world thinks our president, and they're right, and our diplomacy is a joke. We are throwing decades of hard work and reputation building down the toilet because Donald Trump is more interested in personally profiting from countries like Qatar and Saudi Arabia than he
put down the wine coolers, faggot. Like, come on.
Actually leading and representing the United States of America.
Good Lord.
I wonder, do you know what the specific illegal acts are that your Democratic colleagues were referring to there?
Well, it's very clear in this code for the military that you cannot follow unlawful orders. And, you know, that would be, I'll just use an example. Some of the judges have now found in certain cities that it is not legal to send in the National Guard. And those National Guard members have come home. Some of them are still there.
Nothing.
But if their commander were to tell them, hey, go out on the streets and do this and that, that's not following the order that is in law. So, so I just use that example. I'm sure
I just used that example that I just pulled out of my ass.
my colleagues would have others.
I wonder.
Golly. All right. Secretary General of NATO. What's his name? Mark Rutte. Name. What I've seen over the last 10 months is that President Trump and his team, they're all working extremely hard to get this war solved. And it's good that there's a plan on the table, which was discussed yesterday in Geneva. Very good. Now we get to Crockett. That's right. He wants to run for the Senate.
I am still thinking about running.
Can you imagine?
We did get our polling back, so.
Did you? How's that doing?
We are moving on to the next phase to determine whether or not this is would make sense in the moment, and if the infrastructure can be built out in the way that I see it being necessary to actually be able to win, as well as we are continuing to look at the polling on the.
Oh my God, she's an idiot.
Other side, listen, they are in a civil war right now on the Republican side as it relates to who will become their nominee. You know, John Cornyn has served.
How's that? I'm not seeing that.
Served the state of Texas for decades at this point in time in some capacity. And
oh, she's talking about Texas specifically. Okay, I wouldn't know enough about that to comment, but.
And right now, you know, I don't know if he's MAGA enough to make it through his primary, but we are evaluating all things and seeing what it would look like to put together a team, and we will make a final decision by Thanksgiving on whether or not we're going to ultimately move forward.
What did the polling information that you got back show? I mean, is it a calculation of whether or not you're going to be facing Cornyn, who might have more appeal to moderates in your state, centrists in your state, as opposed to a more...
We got to get Cornyn F out, man.
MAGA candidate who potentially defeats Cornyn in the primary that you might, or any Democrat might.
He got to go. Fire that guy. Had enough of her too. We'll move on. Ursula von der Leyen says 1/3 of Africa's total trade is with Europe. We are building new infrastructure together to connect Africa and Europe. Oh, really? Is that why Europe now looks like Africa?
A closer partnership between us begins with trade itself.
Begins with dumping migrant labor into Europe?
Europe is already your first trading partner by far. 1/3 of Africa's total trade is with Europe. And Africa exports to Europe more than twice as much as to China, for example.
What, people?
Most of our trade has been duty-free and quota-free already for decades, thanks to our free trade deals and preference schemes. But I see room to expand our trade relationship even further.
Ah, yes, all the better to replace the standing European population with, my dears. McConnell on Ukraine-Russia peace plan. Those who think pressuring the victim and appeasing the aggressor will bring peace are kidding themselves. What difficult concessions are we pressing Russia to make? I don't know, Mitch. Do you know? You don't. Why are you talking? Steve Ducey visiting. Oh, the two turkeys. They're going to get pardoned.
Things through history. And Jay is Mr. Butterball, and currently he's trying to keep...
Mr. Butterball.
Is that which?
This is Waddle.
Yeah, he's trying to keep Waddle from losing the security deposit here at the Willard. How do you talk
They're at the Willard Hotel. That's great.
them into allowing two essentially wild animals to be in the hotel for 3 days?
Well, it's such a great tradition that we've been involved in for so many years now through the National Turkey Federation, and they're very happy to do it. It's quite an honor. They walked the red carpet yesterday coming into the hotel, and now they've got their own suite, and they're just enjoying life before they go see the president.
Well, it's fantastic. And this is something that goes way back in history, right?
It does.
That's pretty cool.
It goes back to the Truman administration, and George H.W. Bush was the first president to actually pardon the turkeys.
Fantastic. Now, Travis here actually
Interesting.
raised the turkeys. Tell us a little bit about it. How old are they? Because they look old enough.
Yeah, these birds here are about 19 and a half weeks old.
19 and a half weeks?
19 and a half weeks.
They grow fast, don't they?
Perfectly.
Okay, and why does America make the best turkeys on Earth?
We have a wonderful company behind us in Butterball. They have a good support team, good vet team that supports us in everything we do as growers, and we strive every day to raise the best turkeys we can raise.
So tomorrow, Jay, when these two are there at the White House with the president, how are you going to control them? I mean, they're wild animals, essentially. If one of them goes bad, goes a little crazy, that's going to be the world's worst photo op for Butterball.
Well, the good news is they've been socialized throughout their life here.
Bad turkey.
Travis and his family have been spending a lot of time in the barn with these turkeys, paying them a lot of attention, listening to music. They play a lot of music in there.
They get music played for them? That's adorable.
They do. But they've been handled quite a bit, a little more than what we do with our normal turkeys that go through our company. But these guys have been getting the special
Look at
treatment.
his snood. What do they call it? Is that what that is on there? Is that the snood? Or is the snood under the... I forget. I just remember that there's something called a snood on a turkey's face.
And they're going to...
And it's hilarious because the word is just... I love the word.
Perform just great, I think.
Travis, this particular turkey has taken a liking to me. What's the worst thing that they could do to me right now? It doesn't hurt for him to peck on me, does it?
It absolutely does not at all. He's just waiting for a little rub.
A little rub?
Rub right
Like
under the
that?
chest.
Right there? Oh, he's got to go to the ladies' room.
And indeed, I was right. The snood is the appendage that hangs over the beak. The dangly thing. That is the turkey's snood.
There.
Trivia for Thanksgiving. You're welcome.
One of the things about the turkeys that a lot of people don't...
He was probably about to tell you about the snood. And cut it off, but... It is a handsome snood. I mean, just look at it.
Things through history, turkeys...
Show
that a
us
lot
your
of
snood
people
again,
don't-
sir. Look at that snood. It is dangly. It is large.
Things through history.
It is red. Wonder if they eat snoods. Do they chop the snood off and fry it? I bet they do somewhere. Fucking India, probably. Department of Government Efficiency has officially been disbanded. Yeah, it is done.
Also known As Doge reportedly ending its work 8 months ahead of schedule. OPM Director Scott Cooper clarifying its functions will be absorbed by the Office of Personnel Management, saying, quote, "The truth is Doge may not have centralized leadership, but the principles of Doge remain alive and well." Back in October, Doge estimated it saved a total of $214 billion since the start of its push to eliminate government fraud, waste, and abuse.
Bon voyage, Doge. Been real. Okay, Scott Bessent, a quick clip here on the shutdown.
Mr. Secretary, do you believe that you have enough votes, that the president has enough votes to get rid of the filibuster?
Well, we will
Oh, on the filibuster. Okay.
see come January 30th, because that's the point of my editorial, is to put the Senate on notice that the Democrats kept the government shut down, and Ezra Klein in the New York Times took the mask off. He said this wasn't about health care, this was about stopping totalitarianism. The Democrats haven't been able to stop President Trump in the courts, they haven't been able to stop him in the media, so they had to harm the American people. 1.5% hit to GDP, $11 billion permanent hit. They don't care. So I believe that Senate Democrats, if Senate Democrats close the government again, that Senate Republicans should immediately abrogate the filibuster.
Mr. Secretary, do you...
Okay, then. Oh, God.
Are you getting more threats now as a result of this? Yeah, absolutely. We're getting more threats.
What, after the retarded video you dropped, basically calling for the military to...
You know, when the president...
just disobey the president because they feel like it.
States tweets out death threats and says the things that he says that stirs things up a lot.
No one should be happy
Now they're playing victim. That's adorable.
when we're threatening violence against people who we just don't agree with.
But you yourself admit that that is not happening.
They knew what they were doing. They created a political stunt to get a response. And they didn't like the response.
For that, I think it's unacceptable. I mean, I didn't like the video either. And so what do you think the president should have done differently in that case? I mean, that rhetoric is not acceptable.
What rhetoric would that be? All he did was remind the country at large that sedition is punishable by death. I mean, hey, he's just reminding people. What's the big deal? I mean, come on. Federal Reserve Governor Christopher Waller, I don't think inflation is a big problem going forward, but the labor market's still weak.
We've gotten no public data, or very little public data, but most of the private sector and anecdotal data that we've gotten has said nothing's really changed. The labor market's soft, it's continuing to weaken. Inflation didn't turn out to be quite as bad as we got when we got the CPI report, when we look forward. So in that sense, for me, I don't think inflation is a big problem going forward. It's going to start pulling back. But the labor market is still weak, and we're getting no evidence telling me it's rebounding, despite what the jobs report for September said.
Okay.
So my concern is mainly the labor market in terms of our dual mandate. So I'm advocating for a rate cut at the next meeting.
I hope the 6 seditious traitors in Congress watch this video. Okay.
Mike Rogers, proud to serve as an officer.
Mike Rogers, all right.
In the United States Army.
My name is Preston Shield. For 4 years, I served in the United States Navy.
Jason Mickelborg from Portage, Michigan. I served in the U.S. Army for 8 years.
Chris Patton. I was in the U.S. Army. I was a Sergeant E5. Mel Bauman, retired Lieutenant Colonel, United States Army.
Bill Whitty. I'm a retired Army veteran of 27 years of service.
Dennis Gillen. I served on active duty in the U.S. Army for 22 years as an Army Airborne Ranger Infantry.
I am Larry Siska, Tech Sergeant, USAF, retired, 25 years Joint Military Service.
I am Ken Boyd, a Master Sergeant in the United States Army with 35 years of service.
I'm Jack Coleman, a retired Navy Chief, 21 years of service and 3 combat deployments.
I'm John Turnbull, Major United States Army, retired.
I was proud to wear the uniform and proud to take an oath to the Constitution to protect and defend.
We service members take an oath to defend this nation.
And they make quite a sacrifice to do that, and their families make a sacrifice.
Democrats want service members to walk away from their oaths.
Democrats are disrespecting our country.
Democrats are disrespecting our military.
They want people to abandon their duties.
They're sowing chaos, undermining the chain of command and signaling it's okay to pick and choose which orders to follow.
They are openly calling for our military to disobey orders.
Yep.
These jerks want lawlessness in our street. These Democrats, the radicals, the lawlessness.
I don't know who the black guy is, like lurking in the background. I'm really not entirely sure what the purpose of that is, but
It has to stop.
We need leaders in office that put the welfare, safety, and honor of our servicemen and women first.
We need leaders who will fight for safe streets and will stand by the men and women of the United States military. We don't need politicians who put partisanship over the integrity of the United States military and the men and women that serve. Michigan, let's get to it.
no idea. Not sure what the black guy was about. But all right. The vice president of Campbell's Soup Company again here exploded in a meeting over the company's using bioengineered ingredients, including fake meat that apparently comes from a 3D printer. I don't know if he meant that in a literal sense or he was just like making a quick like quip about, you know, engineered meat, like bioengineered meat, and he just tossed 3D printer out there. I don't know if they actually 3D print their meat or what. I don't know what to think, which is just this is bad enough as it is.
A former Campbell's Soup Company employee is taking legal action against the food giant.
I mean, I haven't eaten Campbell's Soup products in ages, but still, the thought is just gross.
He's making some explosive allegations about one of its top executives. Good evening and thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Ty Steele.
I'm Kimberly Gill. Those allegations are now at the center of a lawsuit claiming the company's vice president went on an hour-long tirade attacking the company's products and employees before taking aim at its customers.
And the former employee recorded it all. Eric Erickson shares that recording and what the company is saying about it.
We have shit for poor people. Who buys our shit?
And that's just part of over an hour-long rant, says former security analyst for Campbell's, Robert Garza of Monroe.
I don't buy Campbell's products barely anymore. So healthy. Now that I know what the in it, even in a can of soup, I look at it, look at me, bioengineered meat. I don't want to eat a piece of chicken that came from a 3D printer. You?
Gross.
The recording allegedly of Campbell's VP and Chief Information Security Officer Martin Bally.
He has no filter.
Crazy. All right. Cracker Barrel marketing expert resigns from board after failed rebrand. What about the CEO who was like behind pushing for the whole thing? Did they fire her? I don't remember. They did, didn't they? Right? They must have. Right? What do I give a shit? I'm never eating a Cracker Barrel. Whatever. Who cares? Not eating there anyway. Even after they fixed their bullshit. Residents gathered at the Somali Mall in Minneapolis last night to protest Trump's call to end temporary protected status for Somalia. One protester said, "We're not here by accident, and we're here to stay forever." Would you care to make a bet on that, or?
Somalis gathered in Minneapolis today to publicly voice their opposition. Fox 9's Leon Purvis joining us tonight from Minneapolis. And Leon, what are they saying about the president's proposal?
Well, Kelsey, many people gathered at Carmel Mall, the heart of the Somali community, to support one another.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. They're doing toothless Somali chanting. And they have white people joining them. How adorable. All of you can go join them on the boats back to Somalia.
Carmel Mall was packed on the fourth
Every one of you in this crowd can get on the boat and go.
Floor with people from the Somali community and people coming out in support. On
Why are they all frumpy white women?
Friday, President
with short hair. What? Why? Why What is it with this?
President Trump said that he would immediately terminate temporary deportation protections from Somalis living in Minnesota, blaming them for fraud in Minnesota.
We're not here by accident. We're here to stay forever.
There are currently 500 Somalis in Minnesota living with these protections and a total of 700 nationwide. Many expect this to be challenged in court, but in the meantime, Somalis here say they are fearful of what's to come.
People are always going to be fearful, but we're telling our people we're greater than fear. We have resilience. We're people that are brave.
When temporary status is...
You know what the great thing about bravery is? You can go be brave all the way back to freaking Somalia.
Revoked, federal law states it can't take effect earlier than 60 days after publication of that notice, and it has to come from the Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem.
What the president is doing is un-American. It is.
That's funny.
It's not Minnesotan.
The protected staff.
Trump era sparks biggest U.S. gas pipeline boom since 2008. Massive pipeline build-out sweeping across Texas, Louisiana, and Oklahoma. Very good. Marking the largest expansion of Gulf Coast natural gas capacity since the 2008 shale boom. Nice. That's good. State-sponsored terror. Fraud schemes sent Minnesota tax dollars to Somali, Qaeda group? Like tied to Al-Qaeda? Huh? Wow. Minnesota's Medicaid Housing Stabilization Services Program, the HSS program, the first of its kind in the country, was launched with a noble goal to help seniors, addicts, the disabled, and the mentally ill secure housing. Apparently, it also helped Somalian terrorists obtain funding. Noble cause. Trump livid about the genocide of Christians in Nigeria. Ooh, Nicki Minaj, that's right.
I think Nigeria is a disgrace. The whole thing is a disgrace. They're killing people by the thousands. It's a genocide, and I'm really angry about it. And we pay, we give a lot of subsidy to Nigeria. We're going to end up stopping. The government's done nothing. They're very ineffective. They're killing Christians at will. And, until I got involved in it 2 weeks ago, nobody even talked about it. I think Nigeria is a...
Yep. Oh, wow. Falcon Trucking School. SLC must be Salt Lake. Now being exposed for allegedly helping illegal aliens obtain CDL licenses quickly, promoting, get your CDL in 2 weeks or less. They can't even speak English.
What do you want to say?
What do you want to say? He asks. They respond in, I don't know, some kind of foreign babble. I'm not sure.
It's cool. MashaAllah. And then you graduate, you work hard, and you do it. Pass the test, It's, everything is not easy. Everything is good, But you get the last.
What is this doing? This, driving a commercial vehicle. I'm sorry, but what, really?
That's good. That's good.
That is terrifying. Falcon Trucking School again.
Thank you for the school. They give me a certificate. They thank you everything. They give me good service.
Didn't give you good English skills.
They give me everything. They help me every day. They take in for the free car to come to school. The good
free car.
Team, my friend. This my friend. This my friend. We help him each other.
Thank you.
Then we come from different states.
That's true.
And thank you for Ghana. This guy.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. And what can you say? What passed? You passed today, MashaAllah.
Yeah, I passed.
You're not getting a certificate like tomorrow, yeah?
Yeah.
And he graduated today at the same time.
Yes.
You guys both team.
Yeah, it was both team.
Disgusting.
How after 2 days?
This will help
after 2 days, so inshallah, but it's good. And still odagana sidoo kale asagana saas oo kale. Marka inshallah.
just think and say thank you for the school.
Thank you for this school. I'm really happy for this certificate. So this good school that you're gonna be on pass. Thank you.
MashaAllah.
Wow. VA eliminates the CHIMP VA backlog, giving veteran families faster access to health care. Good. Greg Bovino, we saw Somali community in Minnesota voices concerns about the loss of temporary protected status. Oh, boo-hoo. Wah. Okay. Oh my gosh. What? Australian Senator Pauline Hanson sent her chamber into hysterics by wearing a burqa, having been denied permission to introduce a bill that would outlaw the Islamic face coverings in public. In response, she blasts her peers as hypocrites.
But to the breaking news.
It's absolutely unconstitutional. This needs to be dealt with immediately before we proceed.
Clearly, what has happened today is all of us in
the Senate was abused.
If this is about the dress code,
but racism should not be the choice of the Senate.
Oh, they immediately cry racism.
This is a racist senator displaying blatant racism and Islamophobia, President.
If this is about the dress code, she is disrespecting a faith. She is disrespecting the Muslims out there, Muslim Australians. It's absolutely unconstitutional.
No, this is an action. This isn't her. This is a different one. This is someone, another senator that is just wearing a bag over her head because she wants to.
This needs to be.
Fatima Payman. So where's the lady that came in with the burqa? Oh, there we go.
Went into the Senate today dressed in a burqa after she'd been refused permission to introduce a bill to ban the burqa from public spaces. Now, Hanson was abused by several senators and not allowed to defend herself, while Muslim Senator Fatima Payman could freely wear her hijab. Hanson wasn't even allowed to speak in her defense.
Oh, look at that photo.
Before the Senate was suspended after she refused to leave. Although others...
Wow, they suspended the Senate.
...were given a free shot at her.
Oh, nuts. Dang, Australia. Okay, next up. Jimmy Cliff, who famously sang about the many rivers we all must cross, has died after suffering a seizure and pneumonia. Very sad. Okay, Senator Rubio commenting on Ukraine-Russia peace talks.
We had a very good day today. I think we made a tremendous amount of progress, even from the last time I spoke to you, and I apologize for keeping you waiting, but there was more work to be done. You know, we began almost 3 weeks ago with a foundational document that we socialized and ran by both sides, and with input from both sides. And one of the things that happens when you've been involved in this now for 10 months is you get a pretty good sense of what the priorities and the red lines and the important issues are for both sides. And so that allowed us to create a foundational document, which has been an ongoing working document. In fact, over the last 96 hours or more, there's been extensive engagement with the Ukrainian side, including our Secretary of the Army and others, being on the ground in Kyiv, meeting with relevant stakeholders across the Ukrainian political spectrum in the legislative branch and the executive branch and the military and others to further sort of narrow these points. We arrived here today with one goal, and the goal was to take, it's 28 points or 26 points, depending on which version as it continued to evolve, and try to narrow the ones that were open items. And we have achieved that today in a very substantial way. Now, obviously, like any final agreement, they'll have to be agreed upon by the presidents, and there are a couple issues that we need to continue to work on. But I think the report today is that I think today was worthwhile. It was very, very, it is probably the most productive day we have had on this issue, maybe in the entirety of our engagement, but certainly in a very long time. But work remains, and because this continues to be a working process, I don't want to declare a victory or finality here. There's still some work to be done, but we are much further ahead today at this time than we were when we began this morning and where we were a week ago for certain.
Nice. Minnesota officials did not complete a required security review that determines who is eligible to receive SNAP benefits.
Mental Nutrition
Wow.
Assistance Program, or SNAP. The program distributes nearly $70 million in benefits each month in Minnesota alone. Well, 5 Investigates has uncovered audits that show the state did not perform required security checks of the computer system that determines who is eligible to receive this money.
Gee, it's almost like they were setting it up for fraud.
It is a discovery that has SNAP recipients like Mateo Halbesleben worried about the safety of his personal data.
Meta being accused of burying evidence of social media harm, with new lawsuits claiming the company used a 17 strikes policy for sex trafficking posts. What does that even mean?
The lawsuit
like
alleged
they wouldn't take a post down until it had gotten 17 strikes? Like what?
Meta had a 17 strike policy for sex trafficking posts before it would actually remove them from its platform. The lawsuit also argues that the company was, quote, aware that millions of adult strangers were contacting minors on its sites, that its products exacerbated mental health issues in teens, and that content related to eating disorders, suicide, and child sexual abuse was frequently detected yet rarely removed.
Wow.
The company failed to disclose these harms to the public or to Congress and refused to implement safety fixes that could have protected young users. Among its allegations, parents also claim that executives initially shelved efforts to make Instagram less toxic for teens and knew its products were addictive, but downplayed the harms on kids' mental and physical health.
Oh, of course.
Meta responding to the claims saying, quote, we strongly disagree with these allegations, which rely on cherry-picked quotes and misinformed.
Of course, I mean, you would, wouldn't you? Wowie, wow, wow, wow. All right. Well, that does it for me, you guys. We're at the top of the hour here. Just about. I think Mr. Fedora is in. Yes, he is. How you doing, sir?
Hello. How are you?
Doing quite good. How about yourself?
Good. Doing great. Got some good news to share for sure. I think I'm going to divert a little bit of time away from Tech Frontiers today. And late last night, I got on the Trump truce, and I thought, well, I might be fun if you didn't do it.
Oh yeah, I didn't. I mean, I mentioned it briefly, but
yeah. Well, I think we'll go through his last 24 hours,
nice.
And then poke in his comments and see some of the ingenious art and that people put out there in the comments. And,
cool. That's a good idea. I dig that.
And then if I got some time, I'll get into some tech.
Cool. All right. Well, the floor is yours, sir. I'll let you get to it.
All righty. Okay.
Have a good show.
Thank you. You got have one good yourself. No, well,
sure
I
will.
guess not a good show. But...
yeah, I know. Same difference. Whatever.
Yeah. Have a great day, bud.
We'll do. See ya.
All righty.
All right, guys. That's it for me. Let me pop this up so I can stop the stream here. Yep. I will be back tomorrow evening. I will see you guys then. Have a wonderful rest of your Monday. Please don't forget to help fund us. We need it. It's been a rough month, so please, if you can, toss a little our way. Go to donorbox.org/support-PSB. I'll drop the link. Other than that, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. All right? Bye-bye.